I'm Jack. I'm the Business Operations Director here at Pizza Geeks. I've been in the role for about a year now, but I've been with the company since it started. We're a geeky pizza brand. We love everything nerdy and everything pizza. Started as a small street food company just out of a gazebo with a wood-fired oven, and we've grown pretty naturally since then. So we've had several pop-ups all over Scotland. Opened our first restaurant back in 2017, and then we've expanded to having 3 restaurants now in total today. So all of our stock was always ordered just through the individual suppliers. So the chefs and the front of house supervisors would have a list of where we would get all the stock from all different suppliers. They'd then have to go through, do their stock take, tally up everything, figure out which supplier everything was ordered from, and then put several different orders in. Orders Made Simple has made a massive difference to the operation for our business. The main thing being, when you're handing over orders to a new member of staff, or even for the chefs who are in currently, it's just a case of opening up one app. We've got a list of all the items that we regularly order. We don't have to go sieving through or making notes or going through a list of items that they know from each supplier. It's just a case of going on, putting the orders through, and then it gets sent to all the suppliers for you. So it takes a lot of the busy work away. I think it's massively improved our efficiency. I think through all aspects of the business, from the staff who are on the floor, to the management team, and then also for myself dealing with the back of house, chasing up the invoices, and the guys who are putting in the orders, again, rather than faffing around with multiple different suppliers, making sure that they're not missing anything. They can just go on, it's one app, very clear to see what their classic order is, what items they're usually ordering, make sure it's populated. For the managers, they're not faffing around with a bunch of paper invoices coming in, something gets lost, it's classic in the restaurant industry. The other massive thing is, specifically with credit notes, it's very easy for things to get missed in terms of when we have something delivered, we're relying on the person to check the invoice, or if the invoice gets missed. But having everything online there on Orders Made Simple means it's very easy to then submit that credit note, and you can see it come in all through the same app. It's not going to different email addresses. You've not got all the different multiple people getting involved for it to easily get missed. The onboarding process for coming on board with Orders Made Simple was super easy. It was just a case of setting up the accounts for all the restaurants, which was handled all by the admin team. And then all the suppliers were super easy to integrate. It was actually a lot easier than I was expecting. Orders Made Simple is really easy for our team to use on a day-to-day basis. It's definitely a lot more simple than the previous way of going through all the individual suppliers. One way that I find it really, really useful is especially with training staff on orders. Like when you've got a new staff member doing orders for the first time, it can be very difficult to make sure that they're not going to miss any items or miss a supplier at that. Because if you miss a whole supplier order, then it could be half the stock for the kitchen that has been missed. But there's just no way that you can do that with Order Made Simple, because it's right there. Everything's right in your face. Can't miss it. Super simple to use, really intuitive. We've definitely seen a lot of improvements in terms of efficiency since we've had Orders Made Simple, mainly on the back of house admin side of things, for our managers to gather their invoices together, which used to be, sitting down on a Monday morning, going through all the paper invoices, checking versus what they have, putting it onto their profit and loss sheets. It's now just a case of logging into Order Made Simple, looking at your invoices for the week, and it actually eliminates the job completely for them. Because now, when I go in to check their invoices as well, they don't even have to compile them all together. At any point during the week, I can hop on, I can have a look at any of our individual sites' invoices, and I've got it all there right for me. We've absolutely seen a reduction in the amount of time that it takes for our chefs and front of house staff to make orders. If I was to put a ballpark on it, we're probably about 20 minutes to put an order through before, if you were going through all the individual suppliers, making sure that you were getting everything and making sure it was done properly. Whereas now, it's a 5-minute job once you've got the stock there. It's really, really simple. For us, after we got Orders Made Simple, it made a massive difference to the invoicing side of the business. First of all, making sure that we were on top from a managerial level of all the managers having all of their invoices together is very, very easy for something like paper to get missed. And then it's a case of tropesing through emails, making sure, when you've got 3 different restaurants who are all using the same suppliers, you've got all the invoices coming in to one email address. It take a lot of time to actually find what you're looking for. But in Orders Made Simple, it's like 10% of the time that you would spend doing that, going through everything, making sure everything was in the right place for your invoices, is now just a case of going on, order made simple, and it's all right there for you. The credit notes is probably the most useful feature because, as everybody in the restaurant industry knows, when you've got an issue with the supplier, it can sometimes be a faff going back to them, making sure that the staff who are on site are diligent in the fact of going back, phoning up the supplier, letting them know what's wrong. When the credit note gets submitted, making sure that the money's actually landing in their account in a timely manner. But in terms of the credit notes in Order Made Simple, it's such a simple process. There's no real barrier for getting the staff to be diligent with putting the credit notes in if there is ever an issue with the orders. I would absolutely recommend Order Made Simple to other businesses. It's just been such a breeze for us having it part of our processes. Like from day-to-day management, for the staff on site, for myself dealing with the accounts in the back of house, just every part of the process has made everything so much easier for us. The price comparison is a massively helpful feature for us. Obviously, beforehand, when you're going through a massive spreadsheet that gets sent over from your supplier, you're scrolling down, first of all, to find the right item, and then say, for example, it's chicken. They've got 6, 7, 8 different types of chicken that they supply. They're all in different forms. And then you have to go check the same thing against the other supplier and the other supplier. Whereas now, with Orders Made Simple, it's just a case of typing in what item you want, and then you've got a list of all the price comparisons right there for you. So it makes that process so much easier. And you never have that background feeling of, oh, I don't know if I'm getting overcharged for the supplier. I don't know, maybe I need to have a chat with my reps. It's all there for you. It's blatantly obvious to see, so there's never a barrier to go and quickly check up on these things or make sure that you're keeping your costs down as low as possible, as constantly as possible, because obviously restaurant industry margins are tight, so every penny that you can make sure you're watching from your suppliers is very, very important. Orders Made Simple is fantastic for me having with the multiple sites. That's probably the most use that I get out of it. Overseeing the restaurants, having access to all of their invoices and all of their information just from the click of a button, all in one place, is so much more simple than manually gathering the invoices together, going through emails, checking your invoices compared to what's actually getting delivered with the staff. It's just an absolute dream to work with, and especially with the street food side of our business as well. We've got a lot of moving parts, so having something that just takes a bit of the complication out of that makes life so much easier on a day-to-day basis. The delivery day scheduling aspect of Orders Made Simple has been a really useful feature for us, especially in the street food side of things, because we will know we've got events coming up down the line. We know what stock we need and we know how much of it we need, but we'd often just wait until closer to the time to put the order in. But it's a case of setting yourself reminders, having it on your calendar to make sure that you put the order in on that day. Whereas now, we can just go on, set the scheduled delivery for the order to be put in for that date, and then we've got nothing to worry about. We know that the order is going to come then. We don't have to think about it anymore. We don't have to be setting reminders and chasing ourselves up to make sure we put the order in before the weekend. You can have everything nice, smooth, and in place for the event coming up. If Orders Made Simple closed down tomorrow, it would be disastrous for the business. Like, we'd have to go back to the archaic system of chasing up paper invoices and trudging through our emails. It's one of those things where you don't know how good you've had it until it's gone, I feel. If we had to go back to the way that we were doing things before, it would just be such a pain. Thinking about it from a day-to-day basis of the staff on the floor to also management side of things as well. So I've got 2 go-to pizzas at Pizza Geeks. It's either the Chorizard or it's the Wildling. Chorizard is chorizo, a little bit of black pudding, fresh chilies, and a drizzle of hot honey, which always goes down a treat for me. It's probably one of our most popular pizzas. And then my other favorite is the Wildling, which is a garlic and rosemary oil base, spinach, goat's cheese, roasted butternut squash, and then a drizzle of chili jam. So they're my go-to ones, I'd say.